been a long time since I've been excited about reselling. I've done reselling on and off for 10 years, actually, probably more like 15 years. I sold my first item on eBay when I was 13 years old, and I'm 28 now, so I've been doing this for quite some time. So what I'm doing now is I've been revamping my office, and I've been kind of reframing the way that I run my reselling business. And in this video, it's going to be a classic what sold video, but I'm also going to provide some information about why I picked up what I did, the places that I source the items from, because you need to know, am I getting it from a thrift store, is this from a yard sale, etc. And in addition to that, I'm going to give you any kind of like determining factors for whether I did or didn't want to sell something again in the future. And I just kind of want to be honest with you guys that reselling is not as easy as people make it out to be. I know that it is definitely doable, and for a hardworking person who understands like systems and business and inventory management and cash flow and things like that, it will come a little bit easier to a type of person like that. But in addition to that, I've been learning how to do better photography. That was one thing that was severely lacking in my business before, and I did not have a good setup. I have since started to build a flat lay station on the wall behind me over here, and I've also gotten a photo box. But the issue I have right now is I'm just running out of space in my small office, so we're trying to get another building outside that my partner could do his work from home job in, and then I can use the other room in our house to have another office slash YouTube studio, because it's not super convenient to set up and take down your stuff every single time that you want to film. But anyways, I wanted to give you a little bit of backstory on why I haven't really posted a lot of eBay or Amazon videos lately. I do still sell on those platforms, and I'm starting to get back into it. I've just redone my office and sort of implemented a system where I have boxes that I can pull out, and so it's working really well. I've only been doing it for about a week, but my sales are going pretty good. I got back into eBay a couple months ago. My 90-day total is about $3,000, so about $1,000 a month. So nothing crazy, but pretty decent sales for kind of easing back into it. I'm also trying to figure out new ways to source that are sustainable, because thrifting is, I think, more competitive than ever, and it's very hit or miss when I go to my local thrift stores, and they've also raised the prices quite a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So the first item I sold was a mascara by Benefit. I sold two to the same buyer, and it sold for $16.95 each for a total of $33.90, and then they got a 10% discount on it, and the profit wound up being $18 for a $3 buy cost. And let me show you these mascaras. So I've actually got a whole Dollar Tree bin full of them. I got these initially from an Amazon liquidation store. They were $2 on one day, so I grabbed like 10 of them, and they were selling so fast. So I went ahead and came back the next day on Dollar Day, and I got like maybe 30 of them. Anyways, I wound up having about 40 to 50 of those, and I've been making about $8 profit each, and it looks like I have about 25 left. So that was just an example of how you can basically, if something is profitable and cheap enough, you can kind of have it in your inventory as one of those like bread and butter type of items, assuming that you can find it cheap enough. The liquidation store that I go to, there's actually two by my house. There's one about 15 minutes away and one that is like literally 3 minutes away. So what I do is go on the days that are $1 and $2 usually. I'll sometimes go when it's $5 or $10, but usually I find the most profitable things that other people left behind, things that people just don't use. And there are resellers in there, but I find that a lot of the resellers sell on like Facebook Marketplace. They don't do eBay, they don't do Amazon, so they're not really looking to pick up the same type of stuff I am. And one tip that I would give you is that even if you're seeing someone else who's scanning or on their phone, don't worry about it. Don't be intimidated by it, because most of the time they don't know what the hell they're doing. So that's just my 2 cents. I've been doing this for a long time. So, but that item potentially, I guess, is going to make me around, I'd say about $400 profit, because before I got those 40, I think I had about 15 other ones that I sold before that, like 2 weeks before I got the 40. I wanted to make sure that they were going to sell quickly enough. I don't want to sit on it forever. Let's move on to the next item. This is a international residential code book. I picked up 4 of these books for $5 each at a liquidation outlet. My profit on this one was $28. It sold for $50. I believe I have been using promoted listings on these at about 3%. Not a big fan of promoted listings, but sometimes stuff gets buried and I just wind up doing it just to get my items sold. All but one of these sold, so I've made anywhere between $28 to $30-ish on those. So we'll just say about $90 profit so far on $15. And I've got one left. So that was a great pickup. Next thing were these razors. The brand is Braun. I knew that it looked foreign and it said that it was made in Germany. I paid $1 for it and it sold for $27.95. Sold the same day I listed it. There weren't a lot of comps, so I went on the higher end. When I can't find a lot of comps, I don't usually put best offer on the listing. I'll just have a buy it now price. People still sometimes message you with an offer, but I want to kind of make it to where, you know, the buyer assumes that the price is the price. No need to go down on something when there aren't a lot of other ones. But anyways, I kind of saw that, and I usually don't sell a ton of razors, but this one just kind of looked interesting. The color scheme, the font, and it did look like it was a quality product. So I did get that for $1 from a bin store. Okay, the next item is a dress that I sat on forever. The photography is pretty terrible. I used my shower curtain in my bathroom. I was just trying to get rid of some clothing that I had, and I wound up selling this for $24.95. I think I paid around $5.99 for it at an America's thrift store. What had happened, I literally had not sold this dress for 6 months, and I was having to go to a funeral, and I was freaking out trying to figure out what to wear because it was a Pentecostal funeral and I was not able to wear like any of my normal like dresses that aren't super long, and I didn't have to wear what their church normally wears, but I just didn't want to stick out and I didn't want to make them feel uncomfortable. So I grabbed this from like my inventory, put it on, ran to the funeral, and as soon as I got back home, I sold the dress, but I had taken the tags off of it. And I knew that I literally said when I was putting it on, I gotta remember to take this out of my inventory. So I forgot. And so I frantically messaged the buyer and I was like, I'm so sorry to tell you that I took the tags off of this to wear it to a funeral. I said, I'm very embarrassed by this. This has never happened. But, you know, would you like to, you know, get a refund? Or would you like me to give you 50% off of the dress? And so she said, that's fine. Thank you for your honesty. I'll take the discount. So I just wound up refunding her like half the cost of the dress, which I've never had to do for that reason before. And then I wound up shipping it to her. And I think that overall I may have lost like $2. But that is just a cautionary tale that if you are planning on using something or giving it away, make sure that it's accounted for. And one thing I'll say is that I did not have this bin system yet when I did that. And so I'm hoping with this new system, I will be a little bit more cautious about what's eBay inventory and what's up for grabs for me to wear. The next item is a Bible. This sold for $32.95. I sent that offer to a watcher and it was originally listed for $39.99. My profit on it was $17. I paid $3.99 for it at an America's thrift store. It sold in about a week, which is pretty good for a book on eBay. It's the King James Version 400th anniversary. I just want to make sure I get that right. And I used my new light box to take the pictures. So it looked really, really good. And, you know, just thinking that I could have been doing the lightbox thing long ago. I mean, it's like less than $100 to get one that's really good quality and that will work fine for eBay. So I really wish I would have done that years ago. But just having the ability to make things look professional definitely can get you more money, and it helps you stand out among those listings where people are putting things in the floor with carpet as the background or just hanging up things on, you know, doors, things like that. I've done all of that before. I'm not saying that's bad, but I think there's a certain level of professionalism that can separate you know, a full-time reseller versus someone who has just a few things in their closet that they're trying to get rid of. So I do like selling Bibles. A lot of them are not worth anything, but if you have special edition ones, they definitely can be. The next item is a Walter Baker jacket. Originally, I had this listed for around $50 and I sat on it forever. I know that the photos aren't good. That's part of the issue. I wound up selling it on a best offer just to get it out of there for $25. My profit was $3, barely anything, but I look at it as I didn't lose money and I learned a brand that I probably won't pick up again. I think the tag of it was the reason that I was kind of like, you know what, I don't know, I just feel good about this. And part of it was that I liked the style, and I have to remember that, you know, I'm not the one who's going to be buying this stuff. I need to just listen to the market. And that's one thing I've tried to get better at, is looking at comps, looking at sell-through rates, and looking at the size and style, because brand is important, but so is, you know, like the relevancy of like, what's the style? Is the style from, you know, 15 years ago? Is it current? Is it trendy? And so things like that, really, I think I need to take into account more when dealing with clothing. The next item came from a bin store. I paid $1 for it. It sold on a best offer for $16.95, and my profit was $8. So pretty good profit, $1 into $8, because I mean, if you had $1,000 and someone said, I'll give you $8,000 for it, you definitely make the trade. So that's kind of how I look at it, especially with things like a pill bottle that don't take up very much room. You can put it in an area and it'll ship in a little bubble mailer, no issue there. So I'll sell stuff like that all day long. I will say I don't really like to go below about $15 or $20 at the lowest, because, you know, I have to think about my time when listing. That's one thing that, you know, if you're starting out, you know, you can do that, but as you progress, you won't want to spend as much time listing that low value stuff because you just don't have the time. It's much better to sell a few higher value items rather than a bunch of tiny little things that, you know, are only $4 and $5 and $8 profit. Okay, the next item is something that I did not even know what it was. I saw it at the thrift store and I was like, what is this? It's a thing that you plug in to check your car. I still don't know what it is. Isn't that funny? But I sold it for $34.95. I paid $4 for it and my profit was $18. And I found it in the sporting goods section. It wasn't in the electronics section. It was in like one of those little plastic bags, you know, where they put small things. And I used to ignore those. I don't know why. I guess I just thought it was all like crap. But lately I've been finding some really good things in that area, because if you pay attention, they'll put out some high-end makeup sometimes. I sold some different like lipsticks and a Bobbi Brown, I think, eyeshadow. So really interesting that, you know, those small things that I overlooked for years are probably some of the most profitable things in the thrift store, because other people are also overlooking them. So one of the last items are these Culturelle digestive probiotic type things, and Culturelle is a pretty expensive brand of probiotics in terms of just over-the-counter stuff. I paid $2 for this. My profit was $9, and I actually had 2 of them. So my profit was about $18 altogether, I guess. I did buy those from an Amazon liquidation store, the one that's by my house. I think it's called SJ's Overstock. It's a newer one. They don't have as many bins, but they also don't have as many customers. So, you know, the other one that I go to is, it's great, but they have so many people there, my nerves can't take it. On Fridays, like, it's just packed. And I'm a big fan of selling supplement type items. They're really small, they're usually really lightweight. You know, we do have the new USPS Ground Advantage thing that has come out, so that's kind of cool to be able to finally catch a break. Shipping has just gone up so much that it's kind of crazy. I looked at one of my mailers the other day. I think I've got it over here. Let me grab it. So what I wanted to show y'all, okay, this is a mailer. It's a flat rate envelope, and it This is the size that it used to be, and this is the size that it is now. So look at the difference in the area that you get to put the item. So tiny. This says it was from 2018 and this one's from 2014. What I did was I ordered 100, and I guess it came from like a local place or something. So I'm probably just gonna order more when I run out of these giant ones. I've been continuing to use them. I don't know, like my post office person hasn't said anything about it. And to be honest, I really don't feel bad about it at all, because look at that. It's shrinkflation with everything in our lives. We cannot get past it. Moving on to the last item, I want to talk briefly about this. This is a Funko Pop. I recently liquidated my cousin's Funko Pop collection. He asked me to sell them on commission, which is something that I rarely ever do. He asked me what I would charge, and I said, 50%. He's family, so I don't like to do commission work. I know a lot of people, that's how they make their living. For me, it really, depending on who you're dealing with, like I knew he would be reasonable. He wouldn't bother me and be like, well, what about this and what about that? Like, how much are you going to charge? Like, he didn't ask me anything. I said, every 2 weeks, I'll send you a Venmo payment of your cut. And so we did that for about 4 to 6 weeks. So for this particular item, it was damaged on the top, but it still wound up selling for $125.95. So $48 with $0 investment except for time. And in terms of commission work, I definitely could see myself if there was like a store or someone who needed to move inventory. For instance, like there's a bookstore at my library. If they were like, well, we want to sell our higher dollar books online, I could do that for them for 50%. So it might be worth it to look into something like that to build some types of business relationships. But I'm very cautious when selling for other people, because what it is they have an inflated sense of what something is worth, and they also don't understand all of the fees, the shipping, and what goes into it. So I think, as a reseller over the years, I've just learned that like basically everything can be bought and resold over and over again. And so to me, things don't really have that much value. I mean, things can have sentimental value, but for instance, just anything in this room, I feel like I could get it again. I think I have one more. I have one that I'll pop up on the screen. It's a grill cover that I sold for $59.95, and I paid $5 for that. And I have my profit on the screen. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it was a great sale. I just made that sale a couple days ago. I actually was at the Amazon liquidation store, and somebody had it, and then they threw it back, and then I grabbed it, and I was like, oh, let me look at this, because grill covers can sell for a lot of money. I probably should have waited and sold it for more, but I just wanted to make my money back. I really am a big fan of, like, if I spend $100, I want to make that money back as quickly as possible so that I can roll it into more inventory. Also, I want to be profitable, but I also only have so much space. Hopefully, once we get that shed built, I will have more space to store inventory and more room to work out of. I'm planning on doing an office tour video because I've completely redone everything. I'm not sure if I'll do an office tour or more maybe like a look into how I handle my inventory, how I process it, what everything looks like, the steps that I take to get everything ready to go. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching this. If you're interested in reselling, definitely check out some of my past videos. Also subscribe to check out some of my future videos that are probably going to be coming out, because I do think I have the fever again. I'm really happy about that because I just, was burnt out for a long time and I didn't have the energy for it. It's a very tedious type of job where you have to put in a lot of details and there's a lot of steps, but I think that I've slowly kind of gotten back into it, and I think that I'm going to be able to grow my numbers. So maybe I'll shoot for a 90-day total of 5,000 next, because I had 3,000 before. But I do want to thank you guys for watching. I have a video coming out about my new light box as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. I love it. It's awesome. I'm obsessed with it. I put like fruit from the refrigerator in it just to see what would happen, and as it turns out, it just lights it up. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me to the end. If you guys have any questions, you can just leave it in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.